Good morning. We're now going to make part number 9, the Cowcatcher. This one's a little more difficult. Cowcatcher is the part at the front of the train that pushes the cows out of the way as the train goes down the track. Back from cowboy days when the trains were driving across the plains. So I'm going to start a new sketch, and this time I'm going to put it on the top view, so that it's like I'm looking down on top of it. I'm going to use my line tool because it's going to allow me to draw it a little bit easier. I'm starting my origin, draw my line across, and as I look, remember this is the bottom part of the Cowcatcher, and so I'm looking at those measurements on the bottom. It's 1.8, and I'm going to go up 0.25. And now I'm doing the diagonal. I know it goes to the center. And if I line it up, put my mouse on the center here and line that up. Now I know the distance from the top to the bottom, but I can't do that at this moment. So I'm just going to click. I'm going to draw the other half. And if you see, I can line it up with the other side. Click, and then I can close it out. And as I zoom in, you can see that that's 0.25, which is what you want. So I'm not going to type in the number there. I'm just going to leave it as it is. But if you make a mistake and you say 0.25, enter, and everything turns red, it's telling you that it's just confused. It was 0.25. You lined it up with the other one, so it says, hey, look, this is 0.25. You're telling me it's again 0.25. I've made a mistake. I don't understand. Did you type something in wrong? Did I do something wrong? All you need to do is take this 0.25 and delete it, and everything goes back to normal because they're both 0.25. You don't need to tell it twice. Okay, now I need to dimension from the top to the bottom. And as I look over here, that's 1 inch. And everything's in black. Hey, green check mark. Now, in this situation, I'm not going to extrude this. What I need to do is a new tool. It's the plane tool. And if I click on the plane tool, and it's asking me, where do I want to put it? I want to put it on top of the top view. So I'm going to click on top of the top view, and I don't want it to be tangent. I want it to be offset. So I'm going to choose an offset plane. And if you look here, you'll see it's added a new plane in there. So I want that distance to be, I look over at my blueprint and it says 0.75, green check mark, because that's where I want my plane to be. I'm going to go back to the top, start a new sketch because I'm going to put it right on top of this guy. And instead of coming over here and trying to click the correct one, I'm going to come here and click plane number 1, because it's not the top, it's not the front, it's not the right, it's this new plane that I created. So my sketch plane is going to be plane number 1. Same thing, I'm going to use the line tool. This time the shape is the same, but it's not quite the same. So I know that the center of this line starts right there. So I'm going to use that point and bring that point up to this plane. So now that point is on this new top plane. So I just added it to it. And now instead of a line tool, I'm going to use the midpoint line, because I know I want this line to go equal out on both sides. And it's going to be 1.2, and that's the length of that line. I'm going to come back and choose the regular line tool. Then I'm going to have the pieces coming up. They're both 0.25, so I can say 0.25, same as the other one. I'm going to come out. I want to choose the center here, click. I'm going to come down, make sure it's also 0.25. And I also want to make sure it lines up here. So now I have both of those little yellow lines helping me. Click, close it out, click, and dimension from the top to the bottom, bring it over, and this distance is 0.75. Green check mark. Now I want you to see something here. These lines are the same, they're parallel. These two lines are parallel. So that's going to make a difference when we extrude here in just a second. So I'm going to tip this up. And again, this is all about new tools on this one. This tool we're going to use is called Loft. And when I use the Loft tool, click on it, and it's asking for what profiles do I want. I'm going to want two of them. I want this profile and I want this profile, those two profiles. And if you look, it creates the mathematical connection between those without you having to do the math. Green check mark, and there's my Cowcatcher. Okay, so now I'm going to go and tip it up to the bottom, because if I don't do this now, it'll do weird things. I want to do this next step first, and this is going to be shell. I'm going to choose the shell tool, and I want my shell thickness to be 0.1. It probably is not going to say that for you. That's my default because I've done this a couple times today. So the shell thickness is 0.1, and when I click on the bottom here, you can see it shells it out. If I made a mistake and clicked on the wrong surface, it will put those and shell it wherever you choose. If you accidentally click on the wrong surface, you can either come to the side over here and click that X, or you can come and click on exactly the same thing you clicked a second time, and it'll turn itself on and off. So there's my shell. All right, now I want to put this outline indentation on this front plane, on the front diagonals here on both of these. So start a new sketch on this plane. If you can't choose that slanted plane, then you've done something wrong with your dimensions. Go back and check your dimensions on these two little pentagon houses. All right, so now I've chosen that. I'm going to come up here, and again, another tool. It's called the offset. I choose the offset button. I'm going to click right in the middle of that shape, and it makes that same shape again, just a little bit bigger. I don't want it bigger. I'm going to click on this arrow, and it brings it to the inside. And I'm going to click on my dimension, and this time the dimension is again 0.1. And there's that outline made just a little bit smaller. You'll see my mouse is trying to say, hey, hit green check mark to make this work. So I'm going to hit green check mark. There it is. And I come over here and hit the close it out green check mark. I'm going to extrude that new shape that I just made. I want to remove it, but I don't want to go all the way through, because you can see it will just go all the way. That's not what I want. I want a depth of 0.05. Enter. And now you can see that it just indents it just a little bit. Green check mark, and there we go. You're going to do the same thing on the other side. See how fast this can be done. Super fast. Green check mark, extrude that amount, 0.05, hit remove, green check mark. So you see I'm going really slow to make sure you guys understand, but it doesn't take near that long. Okay, last little piece of this, the 3 little pegs that are coming out of the back. So I'm going to start by making some points. Start my sketch. On here, I want to make, or not points, 3 little circles. So I'm going to make 3 little circles, start my sketch on this surface, and I can line it up so you guys can see it a little bit better. And I'm going to say circle. And I'm coming down here, and I know one circle goes here. The bottom circle, the other bottom circle goes here. And we have another one that's in the center here. So what I should have done is type those sizes in as I made them. The diameter of each one of these circles is 0.125. And so now I'm going to take my dimension tool, 0.125, 0.125. And now I need to make sure that they're in the right spot. So bottom circle to the bottom is 0.125. You'll notice both of them moved at the same time. From the bottom left, it is 0.275. Bottom to the right, 0.275. From the center circle to the bottom is 0.625. From the center circle to the center of the other circle is 0.625. Remember, this is going from the center, not to the edge, but from the center of the circle to the center of these lower circles. So there's my dimensions. It's all in black. Green check mark, extrude, 1, 2, 3. They don't need to go out that far. They go out, let's see, 0.125, green check mark, and the last thing is the chamfer. And I'm going to put the chamfer on this, and that chamfer's distance is 0.01. It's not a very big chamfer. I don't have to hit green check mark. I can go and do number 2 and number 3 all at the same time. It's the same chamfer, green check mark. And there you go. There is my Cowcatcher. Put some colors. Boop. Boop. I'm going to make it the same blue as everything else, except I want to add some color, and I want to add my yellow to the back pieces. Boop, 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 boop. And the last one. Green check mark. So there's that. And finally, I feel like this front little piece needs a little extra pizzazz. I think I'm going to do the purple here and here and each one of those pieces around. But instead of clicking on each one, what I think I'm going to do is choose that shell and that, not that extrude and that extrude. And you'll notice it did the whole edges all at the same time instead of me choosing each one. Green check mark. Yeah, I think that looks pretty good. There you go. Oh, and I forgot to name it. Rename Cowcatcher. Come back over here in part 1. We're going to rename C-A-T-C-H-E-R, catcher. There you go. All done. Hey, that's all 9 pieces. Come back to the next video and we can take a look at what it looks like to assemble it all.